Good morning, church.
Good morning.
Oh, Bill's probably saying I love that. Don't forget to fill out the text cards if you haven't already and bring them to the center aisle. Two young men are going to pick them up from you later, so don't forget about that. Well, don't forget, we have PBS that starts tomorrow. There's been a lot of work put into it. We are excited. We've invited a lot of people. We pushed out on Facebook. We knocked doors about it. We talked to our friends and family. Don't forget to keep on inviting people, even if it's beyond Monday, okay? So keep on inviting people for that, because we are really excited about our PBS this year. So continue to do that. As we continue on our study of Acts, the title of today's lesson is God's Word equals problem solved. God's Word equals problem solved. As we begin in chapter 6, with information about the status of God's disciples. So what we're talking about here is we have a church here. That's why I mentioned disciples of people. Because if you're a follower of Christ, you're a disciple of God. So we talk about disciples. So when Chase read, the chapter starts out saying, now at this time, while the disciples were increasing in number, a complaint arose. Now what's interesting is, we've been going through the study of Acts in chapter 4. All you keep on seeing is these numbers. It says the disciples were increasing in Acts chapter 4. After they heard the message, the disciples were increasing. So we see a bunch of things when it comes to the church. The church numbers are increasing. With that increase, these are not just Jews converting over to Christianity. There's all sorts of people. So we have a diverse group of people coming together. And in this case, you have Hellenistic Jews. And Hellenistic Jews means they were Greeks. We're Hellenistic Greeks. So every time you see that, those are Greek people who they had initially converted over to Judaism, but now are becoming Christians, or have become Christians. So growing is a good thing. But with that, you have growing pains. But when you have a diverse set of people who are raised a little differently, you have things that you have some conflict arise. But keep in mind, while they were growing, they had open and honest hearts when they heard the gospel. That's why the church was growing. But you see, you only keep in mind, where does division come from in any time? Division is a work of the flesh, and it's from Satan. When you have a good thing going, the first thing that you want to have that happen is generally division. We were reminded oftentimes in preaching school, what divides churches? What divides churches? Some people say, well, over doctrinal issues. Believe it or not, most churches do not divide over doctrinal issues. They divide over things like, oh, I don't like the fact that you changed the color carpet. I don't like the fact that you painted the building a different color. I don't like the fact that, we have projection now and we did before. I don't like the fact that you changed the song book. Those are the things that are causing division in churches. It's not over necessarily doctrinal issues. Usually it's not. 9 out of 10 times. It's over something else other than something doctrinal. But division is something that Satan likes to do. Remember, you could have going at full steam and all of a sudden something like division will put the brakes to growing effort. But see, the key is not, there's always going to be Satan attacking you, but the key to changing things and solving problems is how you react to that change. You can choose to be that stubborn person that says, well, I don't like the carpet, so I'm going to stop worshiping here, which is really, frankly, ridiculous. But the other issue that the church here in Acts chapter 6 had was they had some prejudices, and you had academics because in Jewish culture, they always, as I was talking about in class today in Leviticus, where they erred is they wanted to say that they were better. Because they were chosen people, they're better than anybody else. But see, Jesus never designed the church to be that way. God didn't want it to be that way because we're all God's created people. But the problem is people want to make divisions over, in this case, ethnic differences. Sometimes in churches you have division over age. Ages, essentially. The old hate the younger hate the old. Really, the older should be teaching the younger. We should be united in that front, and the younger should be teaching the older and working together. But those are things that cause division. Also, demographic differences. Being from a different generation of people. These are things that cause division in our church. In this case, they had division, which kind of spanned which their issue was over really an ethnic one. But what we'll see as we observe that the people had an unaddressed problem. Remember, the Bible says a complaint rose against the part of the Hellenistic Jews, against the native Hebrews. So we see where that complaint's coming from, because the widows were being overlooked with the daily serving of food. Because remember, in Acts chapter 4, they got a practice of what the church would do. You would sell your stuff, but you would do it for a purpose. You would sell your extra stuff or whatever you had, so that no one in the church had need. So they had stuff to give to those who had need, but they were being discriminatory of who was getting food for the widows. But notice that complaint arose. But you see, on the part of the Hellenistic Jews, you see later in Acts, you see that these Hellenistic Jews also complain about other things and argue about things. But these were Greek Jews, so they converted from whatever they were doing with pagan, usually worship, to being Jews, then to Christians. But they were not from Jerusalem, and they had issues with the native Hebrews who were from Jerusalem. In other words, they were ethnic Jews born into Judaism. But they forgot they were all taught about Christ and not to no longer follow these Mosaic practices or laws. But you see, complaining is nothing new. It says in the book of James chapter 5, verse 9, do not complain. Do not complain of things, because where does complaining come from? You start getting inward focused on yourself. You start complaining about stuff. Now in this case, they had a valid complaint. But you see that some people also believe that churches don't have problems. They say, once the church is started, you don't have any more problems. Everything in life is perfect. But the reality is, when you become a Christian, sometimes it looks like somebody takes a baseball bat to your life. Christianity is not easy. But even in the church, oftentimes you see the church was going well. They were growing in numbers. But they did have problems. See, you learn any time when you get married, you marry somebody, it wasn't from the same area, even from the same state you are. You get diverse people together, you get different raisings, different maturity levels, and different things of that nature. You have different temperaments, and you have different life experiences. You're going to have conflict. You see, when Karen and I got married, before we got married, we did premarital counseling. And I would say, I recommend everybody, before you get married, do premarital counseling. Because even the secular states are saying, we'll give you a break on your marriage license if you do premarital counseling. Because they know it's a pretext for decreasing the chances of getting divorced. But, we were all happy because we had to take this test. We were scared just like everybody else. Are they going to tell us that we're not supposed to be married together? It's like, I don't know. We're really nervous about this. So they had us take this test. So Carrie and I were supposed to take it separate. So we did. We went in the fall direction. We took the test separately. We're like, okay, what are the results? What are the results? The counselor said, well, you guys, personality-wise, are very, very compatible. So we're like, yes, we'll go to get married. We don't have any issues. Wrong. So he says, hey, you guys are really compatible. It's really great. We're the highest compatible you can be with already being married before. So you guys clearly understand each other. But you have one issue. I was like, oh, man. What is this? What is this counselor going to say? He's going to say, what he said is, even though that we get along well and our personalities, we're not yellow, we understand each other at some level. Because we don't like to fight too much. Sometimes fighting is not always a bad thing, but in this case, because sometimes fighting leads to resolution. But in our case, we had an issue with conflict resolution, which directly danger leads to divorce. So I was thinking, so they said, whenever you guys have a dispute over anything, you got to make sure that everybody's satisfied with the resolution so that all your conflicts are resolved. The point being, whenever you got a diverse group or whenever you're married with somebody who's different from you, you got to have a resolution. So the issue is this unaddressed problem turns into a congregational conflict that didn't have a resolution. So what they do? You see in verse number 2 of Acts 6, so they summoned the 12, so the 12 summoned the congregation of disciples and said, it is not desirable for us to neglect the word of God in order to serve tables. So what they're saying, so this 12 12 that summoned the congregation together were the leadership. They said, hey, and some of the congregation, they listened to the problem. They were saying, okay, what's going on here? So the first thing we see is that the congregation had a conflict. So what did they do? The conflict was that some widows were being overlooked and neglected. See, this church practice started also in Acts 4:35, where you elected leaders to come together and then to solve the issue. But see, we can infer from the text that the Jewish Christians still thought they were better than the Hellenistic Jews. Therefore, they felt the need to overthrow them. So that was the real problem. But see, this conflict was the point of the division. It was essentially going to be division. But why? Because the sin of selfishness is a sin. When you're selfish, things get messed up big time. The churches divide over opinion. In this case, they were dividing over straight up sin. You know, in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, 6-7, it says, do not eat bread of the selfish man, who desires delicacies, for he thinks himself, so is he, or so is he. You see, when you think selfishly for whatever reason you think you've got to be better than somebody, it messes things up. Turn with me real quick to James chapter 3. See what the book of James says about being selfish. Because really, that's what we're talking about. This conflict is one that's born out of selfishness. So in James chapter 3, verse 14-16, look what the Bible says about it. But if you have bitter jealousy and selfish ambition in your heart, do not be arrogant and so lie against the truth. This wisdom is not that which comes from above, but is earthly, natural, and demonic. For where jealousy and selfish ambition exist, there is disorder in every evil thing. So you see, this selfishness is turned to a demonic thing that's splitting the church. They're neglecting the widows. Furthermore, notice that church leaders exercise a scriptural solution to the problem. So remember, these leaders heard the problem because they brought the congregation together to hear what they had to say. And then they came up with a scriptural solution. The leaders in that congregation brought all parties together. Because how many times when you hear of problems, when people bring all the parties together, you generally only hear one side. But notice these leaders were wise enough to say, let's bring everybody together and listen to what's going on. See what we can do to fix the problem. So oftentimes in conflict, people want to turn their listening ears off. That's why the Bible says that, you have one mouth, but you have 2 ears. One mouth, 2 ears. Generally, you can avert a lot of problems. You start just by listening. What is the conflict in the first place? Because oftentimes, conflicts aren't resolved because the problem is not understood. Now, in this case, it was very understood about what was going on. But notice, their first inclination in verse 2 was to consult God's word. The reason they said that, let us not, it says in verse 2, it's not desirable for us to neglect the word of God in order to serve tables. The reason being is, they're saying, we're the leadership of the church, we can't burden ourselves with necessary to this issue because we need to focus on God's word so we're doing things the right way. So let's deal with our solution here. So what was their solution? In verse 5 it says that they appointed 7 men, essentially to handle the task. So in verse 5 it says, let me start with verse 3 and go to verse 5. Therefore, brethren, select from you among 7 men of good reputation, full of spirit and wisdom, whom we may put in charge of this task. So they're going to put 7 men in charge of the task. Here comes the rain, by the way. The state needed this to be kind of hot. But anyways, back in verse 5, the states have found approval with the whole congregation, and have chosen Stephen, a man full of faith, and the Holy Spirit, Philip, Prochorus, Nicanor, Timon, Parmenas, Nicholas, proselyte from Antioch. See, so how oftentimes do we appoint one man over one issue in the church? So all that burden falls on him. Look at these guys, that they appointed 7 men. They didn't say they were deacons, they appointed men in the church who have a good reputation within the church to handle the task. But you see, this type of solution, why it's scriptural, is nothing new. See in Exodus chapter 18, verse 7, Moses learned from his father-in-law and took his advice about, hey, you're doing all these things associated with Lord's work. It's not good because I see the toll is taking on you. You're taking on yourself. Appoint men to help you out with this. So he appointed elders, people who were wise, to help this issue. So in the Old Testament, back in Exodus, Moses appointed people based on his father-in-law's advice, which to me was probably God saying, hey, to speaking to his father-in-law saying, you need to do this. And for people so you're not by yourself to take care of this issue. In the book of Psalms 55, verse 17 through 19, notice it says, as for me, I will call upon the Lord. So before they did anything, what was the first thing that they called upon the Lord? They prayed about it. How many times do we forget to pray about the problems that we have in our lives first? We don't think about that. You got to pray first. They prayed for the effort of these men, these 7 men that handled what was going on. And of sorts, they formed a committee of people to help handle the issue. But after they formed this committee, it says in verse 6, and as these men were brought before the apostles, and after praying, laid hands on them. So they were praying. So they laid hands on them. So basically put hands on them and praying over this issue. That's how serious they took it. But another thing we can point out, what was the result of this scriptural solution? We see in verse 7. The word of the Lord kept on spreading, and the number of disciples continued to increase greatly in Jerusalem, and a great many of the priests were becoming obedient to the faith. But what's neat is because of the way they did a scriptural solution, people came together, they came with a solution that everybody was in agreement with, appointing men over to deal with the issue. And then next you see the Word of God. Because of the scriptural solution, the Word of God kept spreading. We also see the torch passed from Peter and John to Stephen. Because now we see in verse 8, it says, now Stephen, full of grace and power, was performing great wonders and signs among the people. Now mind you, this is the same thing that Peter and John were doing. So I want to keep in mind, they didn't do anything different. Remember, Peter and John got their stuff from Jesus, and now they're passing it on to Stephen. Then in verse 9 it says, but some of the men from that was called the synagogue on the freedmen, including both of Cyrenes and Alexandrians, and some of the Sicily and Asia, rose up and argued with Stephen. They argued with Stephen, said in verse 9. And it says in verse 10, they were unable to cope with the wisdom of which Stephen was speaking. But you're going to see, as we've been going through our study in Acts, there's a pattern here. Anytime they speak the truth, there's going to be people who are going to come up against what you say. People don't like the gospel. They don't like hearing about Jesus. They don't like hearing about the truth. Why? Because they want to do what they want to do. Because these people, sometimes they were able to cope with what they were saying. They could not understand the wisdom of which he was speaking. But you know they were wrong. Look what they did next. In verse 11 it says that they secretly induced men to say, we have heard them speak blasphemous words against Moses and against God. The reason why they were doing this secretly because based on the law of the Jewish custom, if you were to speak blasphemous things against God, they would kill you legally. So they had to secretly do this because they knew they were in the wrong. And they didn't want to do it publicly because there were too many people believing. And when you have the public on your side, they did not want to make a separation with the people. So they had to do it secretly. But they say, you're speaking against Moses and against God. Which he absolutely was not. Because what Stephen was doing was speaking what would be consistent with Moses and what Jesus was saying. We got his message from God above. But notice, they didn't even change their tactics from what they did with Jesus. It says in verse 12, and they stirred up the people, the elders, and the scribes, and they came up to them and dragged them away and brought them before the council. So notice, these people that stirred up the people against Jesus. It sounds very familiar. If you don't believe me, let's go turn there to see what it says. In Mark chapter 15. Turn to Mark chapter 15. And look what the Bible says about these people's tactics. So in Mark chapter 15, verse 9. Remember, what we have here is Pilate. So in verse 9 it says, Pilate answered with them, saying, do you not want me to release you for this king of the Jews? So look, this comparison gets up in the context. Pilate saying, listen, he wants them to release Jesus because he knows Jesus is innocent. And the other person is Barabbas. Barabbas was the guy that killed people and was a known murderer. So in verse 10 it says, for he was aware that the chief priest had handed him over because of envy. So Pilate even knew that the chief priest wanted to kill Jesus because they were envious of who was following him based on his truthful message. The chief priest stirred up the crowd to ask him to release Barabbas for them instead. So notice, they stirred up the crowd again. They didn't even change their tactics in Acts 6. They were still again stirring up the crowd against the message of Jesus. So what do we do next? Put forth false witnesses. They did the same thing with these, put forth false witnesses. And they even said, we heard, so they're going to pull what they said out of context and say, look, we heard them say this Jesus will destroy this place. And in verse 15, they stared at Stephen. And what they were really looking for, why were they staring in Stephen's eyes? They were looking for fear. Because they wanted to see if they could rattle Stephen. Is what they were going to do. Because you got to know, Stephen was aware. These were the same people that killed Jesus, using the same tactics. And they want to see, what is it? Does this man really believe what he's saying? But you know, Stephen knew something they did not, they forgot. In Matthew chapter 5, verse 11 to 12, it says, blessed are you, or happy are you, when people insult you and persecute you and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is in heaven great. Amen. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. Amen. So being persecuted on behalf of speaking the truth is nothing new. You might be saying to yourself, well, how in the world does that apply to me? We're talking about God's Scripture solves problems. God's Word equals problem solved. Well, how it applies to us today is that problems with the church need to be identified. You see, we have very faithful shepherds here. We have deacons. If you have an issue, you need to go tell one of the elders. You can tell me too. And I'll make sure they hear it. We can talk every day, so it's nothing new. But in the church, problems need to be identified. So many times people stew over things, but they don't say a word. They see a problem and don't say it. Don't say anything. And wonder why the problem ain't getting resolved. Well, if you don't identify the problem, it can't be solved. See, conflicts need to be discussed. See, so many people are afraid of just talking to someone face to face. The sad thing is this generation with the technology, it's hurt normal interaction. You know, it's okay to have a disagreement with someone. You know, that's not a problem. That doesn't mean you have to instantly stop liking them because they have a different way of looking at you. The problem is within the church, people forget. When you have conflicts, you need to talk to one another. And it needs to be discussed. See, people forget these examples. These examples always was to listen to what they said, and then he would think and respond to it. He never didn't address their issues. He always gave them the number one solution because Jesus can see into people's intentions. See, too many times when you're dealing with conflicts, people want to assign their intentions. Like, I know what they're trying to do. But really, you don't know what they're thinking. You don't know their intention. They might be well-meaning, but because they don't even know how you feel about it, because you haven't talked, that what they're doing might be hurting you, you forget about that. The problem is you need to talk. But don't forget about this example. But notice in the chapter here, in chapter 6, the conflict was seen as legitimate because too many times conflicts are just dismissed offhand. When really, it was seen as legitimate. It was brought up. Now, I can tell you what I know from the shepherds here. If you had an issue, they're going to listen to you and see the conflict as legitimate. you have an issue, you can bring it before them. But do not be surprised that we have a wise elders here, that they don't rush the solution because they're not trying to rush to a judgment. Because wise leadership, you don't rush the judgment. See, me as a young guy, I can say I've made this mistake before. But being a young person, you rush to judgment. You don't get all the facts. You just run, oh, it's got to be this. But really, when you get all the facts in, it's completely different than what you thought. So you really have to know, don't rush to judgment. It's conflict. You notice these leaders didn't rush to judgment. They stayed spiritual, but they did come up with a solution together that was agreeable to everyone to solve the problem. Page 27. But see, most of the conflict is addressed by coming together and not finger pointing. Because oftentimes, when it comes to conflict in the church, people want to say, well, it was this such person's fault. You know, when I was preaching out to small churches, I preached at probably 22 different churches in 4 different states. And you'd never be surprised how many times I would hear people say, well, personally, they have the issue before the church where they're no longer living. They were still talking about a problem from an issue where people were no longer even living anymore. They wanted to bring conflict. So, and I said, well, what did you do to kind of bring everybody together? Well, you don't know. They didn't even think about coming together with people it's no longer an issue with. They just let it fester and stay. No one did anything to address the problem. So, when you come together, you've got to come together to address problems. Don't bring your point. Try to figure out how can we solve this problem the biblical way. Not my way, but the biblical. What does the Bible say? You see, biblical resolutions are the answer to problems. But so many times people don't believe that to be the case. You know, it starts with having good church leadership. A whole lot of prayer. A whole lot of listening. And an agreement on a spiritual answer. Not an answer coming from yourself. But you all agreeing together on a spiritual answer from the Scriptures. But when you do it that way, God's will is accomplished. Because you see that they kept on growing. And they kept on getting the attention of these people in the synagogue. You're going to see all throughout Acts. Because they were preaching God's word and didn't back down no matter what they were praying. So you got to ask yourself, do you have faith that Scripture can solve problems? Because many people today don't have faith. They want to turn to something else. They want to turn to some gimmick, something that's of their own creation, rather than turn to the Scriptures. You got to ask yourself, do you have faith in the Scripture? And see, the problem is, usually when it comes to having faith in Scripture, you have to be patient. You have to pray and wait for your answer. People don't want to do that. We are so willing to now. But some solutions, the best solutions are not like this. It takes time. But you got to ask yourself, do you believe that God's word solves problems? Is the Bible the first place you look for solutions to problems in your life? You turn to God in prayer for answers. But so many people forget to pray. How prayer is powerful. People forget about that because they just think, see, God wants you to have a relationship with Him through prayer. You need to be praying over everything. Above you, above God. The other thing is, you got to ask yourself, have you asked help from your church family? Have you gotten help from your church family? Because too many people forget about that. You have a church family you can turn to. People, and I understand you're not close with everyone. There's at least one person who turn to church. And then maybe they get up to the elders and maybe come to a solution together. If you're having problems with your faith, don't be ashamed of that. Everybody has a weakness every now and then. We have a church family and we can pray about that. If you're not a Christian today, you can help the problem solve in your life by becoming a Christian. You believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, confess and repent of your sins, be baptized in the remission of your sins, be fully immersed in them. You know what you're doing, so you can have a change life. And after that, people always forget you have to remain steadfast. I mean, you can come for encouragement and come to church because you're happy to worship God. You come to church because God is manifest. Why? Because He knows that we can't remain on Christianity on our own. Christianity is not the thing you can by yourself. We serve a God of peace and a God that wants us to do the right thing for each other. Be the best people we can be. If you have any needs or need some prayers of the church, I implore you to come forward as we stand and as we sing. Give us